Yandy!
Don't touch my Yandy. Hi, Yandy. Yo.
This is my husband.
No, don't touch me. Tell your husband, don't touch me.
Wait, let me. I know this. Baby. No, baby. I know this. No, I knew him since I was young. I knew him since I was young.
Don't touch me, nigga.
Don't talk to my husband like that. Fucking crazy. Don't talk to my husband like that.
Give me a hug.
Oh, listen.
Why you had to
Somebody
jump
you, Flip.
I just want to talk to Yandy.
See, you doing this again. Come on, Flip.
I'm gonna
Flip. You playing with the hands and you yelling. Come on.
Why you had them jump me?
I didn't have nobody jump you.
So why didn't touch me for?
You touched me. You smacked my hand.
Alright, so what, man? I give you a hug, man.
Come on, Flip.
No,
Come on. See,
don't
stop.
touch me.
Flip.
Don't touch me. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. You touch me again. Touch me again.
It was an unexpected and explosive revelation that no one saw coming. In a surprising twist, Mai discovers that Harris has filed for divorce after a DNA test uncovers something that could completely change everything we believed about his marriage to Yandy Smith.
Yo, what's really good? What's really hood? Welcome to the Jamani Show. It's your boy Jay. I got a quick question for y'all, fam. Yo, did Mendeecees allegedly beat up Jim Jones back in the days in Harlem? Did Mendeecees allegedly beat up Jim Jones in Harlem back in the days? Give me y'all perspective, man. Keep it a $1.50. Tell me how y'all feel about that. 1.
The drama exploded on social media when Mendeecees dropped a bombshell, revealing that DNA test results have proven Yandy has been hiding a significant truth about their family for years. Fans were left in complete shock, questioning everything they thought they knew about the couple. Was Yandy concealing a huge secret? And what does this mean for their future together? Emotions ran high as Mendeecees confronted Yandy in an intense exchange, leaving everyone wondering if this is the end for one of reality TV's most iconic couples. Stay tuned as we unravel this shocking scandal, step by step. Mendeecees could barely believe his eyes as he stared at the DNA test results. His fingers shook as he held the paper, struggling to process the words before him. He didn't want to accept it. But the harsh reality was undeniable. The child Yandy had claimed was his wasn't his at all. How could this happen? How could Yandy, the woman he trusted with his heart, the one who had stood by him through thick and thin, betray him like this? The weight of the revelation hit him hard, and the room felt like it was closing in. He thought the child was his, and now everything had been turned upside down. His mind raced, replaying every moment he'd spent with the little one. The late night feedings, the birthday parties, the family vacations. How many times had he looked into those innocent eyes, believing he was doing the right thing by supporting Yandy? He was crushed, struggling to breathe as the truth sank in. Without thinking, Mendeecees stormed out of the house and into his car, determined to confront Yandy. He couldn't wait any longer. He needed answers. Why had she done this? Why had she lied? As he drove, his anger grew, not just over the child, but over everything. The lies, the deception, the years of trust shattered in an instant. He had no idea how he would even face Yandy, or if any explanation could make sense of this betrayal. When he arrived at the house, the door was already open. Yandy was inside, her back turned as she prepared dinner, completely unaware of the storm heading her way. Mendeecees paused in the doorway for a moment, took a deep breath, and then stepped inside. The tension in the air was thick, and he could barely contain his emotions. "Yandy," he called out, his voice steady but laced with anger. She turned, her face softening with a smile, but it quickly faded when she saw the look on his face. "Mendeecees, baby, what's wrong?" she asked, her concern evident as she stepped toward him. "I need answers, Yandy," he said coldly, holding up the DNA test results in front of her face. His hand trembled as he thrust the paper toward her, his eyes blazing with fury. "Explain this." Yandy's face went pale, her smile faltering and replaced by panic that she couldn't hide. She swallowed hard and took a step back. "Mendeecees, I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. "You don't know what I'm talking about?" he repeated, his voice rising. "This test says the child isn't mine. All these years you've been lying to me. You've been lying to all of us. How long has this been going on, Yandy? How long have you been keeping this secret from me?" Yandy opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. The weight of the accusation was overwhelming, and her mind raced, searching for the right thing to say. She hadn't expected Mendeecees to find out like this, and she certainly hadn't anticipated the fury in his voice. "I didn't lie, Mendeecees," she said, her voice quivering slightly. "It's complicated." "Complicated?" Mendeecees nearly shouted. "You think telling me the truth was complicated, or is it the lies you've been feeding me that are complicated?" Yandy's heart sank. She knew she couldn't lie her way out of this, but the whole truth was something she wasn't sure she could face just yet. The guilt consumed her, but she had to say something. Anything. "It's not what you think," she said weakly. I didn't mean for it to get this far." "Didn't mean for it to get this far?" Mendeecees exploded. "You've been lying to me about my own child, Yandy. I've been there for him like he's my own flesh and blood, and all this time I've been a fool." Tears welled up in Yandy's eyes. She didn't know what to say. She had always prided herself on being the strong one, the one who kept everything together. But now everything was unraveling. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Instead, she stood there frozen as Mendeecees turned away from her, pacing in frustration. "This is ridiculous, Yandy. I don't know what to believe anymore. I've stood by you through everything. And this is how you repay me?" He could barely look at her. "You've broken me." Yandy's tears fell freely as she tried to speak, but her voice trembled. "Mendeecees, please. I didn't know how to tell you. It wasn't like this in the beginning. I was trying to protect our family." "Protect our family?" Mendeecees interrupted, turning back toward her. "By lying to me? By lying to our son? How could you think that was protecting anyone? Do you have any idea what this is doing to me? To us?" Yandy choked on a sob, her chest tightening as she tried to explain herself. But nothing she said could undo the damage already done. She had kept a massive secret for so long, and now it was all coming to light. Mendeecees was hurt, betrayed, and she could see it in his eyes. He wasn't going to let this go. "This isn't just about the test, Yandy," Mendeecees continued, his voice dark with emotion. "It's about trust. Everything we've built, everything we've gone through together. It all feels like a lie now. How do I know what's real anymore?" Yandy stood there, helpless, her hands trembling at her sides. She had no answer. She couldn't fix this. She could only wait for Mendeecees to decide what would happen next. The silence between them was suffocating, and the air was thick with the weight of their fractured bond. "Do you even love me?" Mendeecees asked softly, almost too softly. But the pain in his voice was unmistakable. Yandy could barely breathe. This was the moment she had dreaded most, the moment when all her secrets came crashing down. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. Yandy opened her mouth to speak, but the words wouldn't come. How could she respond to that? How could she make him understand? As the silence dragged on, Mendeecees turned away from her again, his voice growing colder with each step he took. "I can't do this anymore, Yandy. I can't keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. I need space. I need time to think," he said firmly, before walking out the door, leaving Yandy alone, standing in the wreckage of everything they had once built. The weight of his departure was suffocating, and deep down, she knew their lives would never be the same again. The days after Mendeecees' dramatic exit were filled with nothing but confusion and chaos. Yandy found herself alone in the empty house, her heart in turmoil, struggling to find any sense of normalcy in a world that had just been completely upended. She had never imagined things would spiral like this, not after all they had been through. But now, with Mendeecees gone and the truth laid bare, she had no idea how to fix the damage. Her phone buzzed nonstop with messages from friends, family, and fans, all seeking answers. Everyone had their own take on what had happened. Some supported Mendeecees, siding with his anger and decision to walk away, while others, loyal to Yandy, tried to comfort her, assuring her that the truth would eventually come out and everything would be okay. But Yandy knew deep down that the damage was already done. There was no going back. When Mendeecees left, it wasn't just about walking out of their home. He walked out of her life. She could feel the space growing between them with every passing hour. He wasn't answering her calls or responding to her texts. Yandy was losing him, and she had no idea how to stop it. The reality of the situation hit hardest when Yandy spoke to her mother, a constant presence in her life. Mrs. Smith was, furious, her voice shaking with disbelief as Yandy told her about the DNA test results. "How could you let it get this far, Yandy?" her mother demanded, pacing in the living room. "You lied to him, and now you've ruined everything. Do you even realize what you've done?" "I didn't mean for this to happen, Mom," Yandy pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "I never wanted to hurt him, but it wasn't like this in the beginning. I didn't know how to tell him the truth." Her mother's eyes narrowed. "And now look where we are. You've destroyed your marriage and ruined your family. You need to fix this, Yandy, and you need to do it fast." Yandy felt the pressure mount. It wasn't just about her relationship with Mendeecees anymore. It was everything they had worked for, their family, their future. But how could she fix something so broken? How could she undo years of lies and betrayal? Meanwhile, Mendeecees was dealing with his own fallout. Friends, family, and fans were rallying behind him, offering support as he faced the most painful chapter of his life. He had always been the calm and collected one, the rock for everyone around him. But now, his emotions were raw and unfiltered. He didn't know who to trust anymore. Would this be the end of one of reality TV's most iconic couples? We want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Mendeecees and Yandy can rebuild their relationship, or is it too late? Drop a comment below and let us know how you feel about the drama that's unfolded. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay updated on the latest twists in this jaw-dropping story.